The unusual volume system is another idea that was inspired by an academic paper, and this one I came to learn about through the strategy website Quantpedia. So the academic paper basically suggested that when a stock rallies on unusual amounts of volume, it often reflects some kind of profound shift in the fundamentals, and that effect can be price gains lasting several days or even weeks. So I looked at this paper and decided to try and put the rules into AmiBreaker code, and I came up with the following weekly strategy. The idea is that we buy a stock when it's experienced an unusual surge in volume, and we then enter trades on the open and hold for 1 week. To measure the unusual volume, the authors of the paper suggested to measure the standard deviation of the volume. So to replicate this, I've plotted a Bollinger Band over the volume chart, and whenever volume is above the top band, we can safely say that the volume has been extremely unusual for that stock. And here I'm using a 25 period Bollinger Band, which I've then offset by 3 standard deviations. So when volume crosses this top band, it's going to be a very clear signal that volume is unusual. Okay, so the rules are as follows. First of all, we want to see volume cross above this top Bollinger Band, which is 3 standard deviations away. Second, we need the volume to also be more than 1 million shares and the close price to be more than $2 per share. We also want the stock to have closed at its highest for 25 weeks, so this is a breakout as well. The final piece of the puzzle is the ranking, and we're going to be using the RSI 14 indicator once again. This time, if we get a duplicate signal, we're going to prefer stocks with the lowest RSI 14 value. In effect, we're buying breakout stocks which are not too overbought. So essentially, this is a breakout system. Not only are we buying the breakout in price, but we're also buying the breakout in volume. Here's an example of a trade setup. You can see volume has crossed the top of the 25 period Bollinger Band with 3 standard deviations. Volume is also more than 1 million shares, and the stock has closed at its highest in 25 weeks. We therefore buy the stock on the next week's open and then exit the trade at the end of that week on the close. Basically, this upsurge in volume and the price breakout has alerted us to a stock that has a lot of momentum, and you can see in this example that momentum carried on, giving us a decent profit in this trade. So to test this strategy, we're going to have a maximum portfolio size of 10 long positions, and we're going to split our 10k equity between each one. So each trade is worth 10%. If we do get more than one trading signal, we're going to prefer the stock with the lowest RSI 14 value. As I mentioned, trades will be placed at the next weekly open, then closed on the weekly close. So running this strategy on the S&P 1500 universe, that includes delisted tickers, between 2000 and 2015, we get an annualized return of 10.27% with a maximum drawdown of 19%, and that comes with a win rate of 53%. If we now move the test forward and run the system between 2015 and April 2016, you'll see that we recorded an annualized return of 4.95% with a drawdown of 9%, while the win rate stayed the same at 53%. At first glance, this system doesn't look too bad. The drawdown is manageable and the equity curve is smooth. However, out of sample, the system didn't do quite as well. There are also some issues with this system that means we may need to put it through some more stringent analysis. The biggest issue is that this system contains quite a lot of adjustable parameters, and that means there's a chance of curve fitting. And even though the out of sample test was profitable, that still does not mean this system is free from curve fitting. To be more specific, the system uses a 25 period Bollinger Band with 3 standard deviations. It uses a 25 period price breakout, relies on volume of 1 million shares, a portfolio of 10 stocks, and it also has a ranking dependent on RSI 14. Slight changes in any or all of these parameters could easily affect the results. However, the reason I've included the system is because I do think it has potential. It may not work perfectly right now, but I think with some more testing and tweaking, it could do well. Logical next steps might be to test the robustness of the parameters by altering each parameter by a small amount and then running the test again. If the system performs differently with only small changes in the parameters, then we will know that something is up. We may also want to test different commissions, different portfolio sizes, different start dates, and run the system on different stock universes and also on a demo trading account. I'll hopefully be able to do some of that at some point and then update the course, but in the meantime, I'll now play the screencast back tests so that you can see the system statistics and equity curves as they were recorded.